everybody and welcome back to That Fiction Live. I don't think this is a newsflash at this point, but The Wicked King by Holly Black has caused some turmoil inside my mind. I'm also cosplaying Jude because I'm so consumed by this world. Yes, indeed I did buy a crown just for this. If you have stumbled onto this video by accident, this is in fact a sequel to The Cruel Prince, which came out last year. It was my favourite book of 2018. Even though it will be spoiler free because I do want to give you some general thoughts first, there will be spoilers for The Cruel Prince, so please do not proceed if you haven't read The Cruel Prince. Highly recommend you do. I have a video on it, so I'll link it down below. Hello, so I hope everyone that's here now has read The Cruel Prince. If you haven't read The Wicked King yet, do not worry, this will be spoiler free for the beginning. I'm very worried for my sanity after reading this book, so I will be doing an in-depth discussion in just a little while. I have lost my mind reading this story. The writing is stunning and it depicts this morally grey protagonist. This is an unprecedented book. I felt emotions I never knew I had. Life will never be the same. It's hard to make something so angsty feel so sophisticated and elegant. Holly Black has this way of absolutely capturing your soul, giving us the most angst I've ever read, yet the story having so much depth and the political intrigue has me dying. Jude continues to be the absolute best. And the story picks up about 5 months after Prince Cardan has been tricked onto the throne. I love the extra details we learn about the world. So I uploaded a video with Holly Black a few months ago on my channel and she gave so many hints into The Wicked King. She particularly mentioned that we would learn a lot about the Mer people and I love that aspect. You can genuinely envision everything so vividly. I don't know what this book has done to my sanity, and I am aware that not everyone will have this much of a heightened reaction as I, and I'm trying not to overhype it. However, I have driven myself crazy reading this. This is what I love about this book, because as much as I don't want to see my favourite characters suffer, I like when books get intense because I do not like predictability. I absolutely hate when a story starts becoming repetitive, but this book is unlike anything I've ever read in my life. The way that the political aspects are mixed in with the development of Cardan and Jude's relationship. If you need a roller coaster, I would highly recommend reading The Wicked King if you read The Cruel Prince. It is an incredible sequel. That's all I'm going to say for non-spoilers. I did write a longer blog post about my non-spoiler thoughts if you'd like to check that out. I will link it down below. But without further ado, we are officially going into the spoiler thoughts discussion. Please do not stick around if you haven't read the book because there's so many plot twists that you don't want to be spoiled on and they are incredible and epic. So welcome to all the people that have hopefully read The Wicked King. I don't know where to start. I think we were all looking forward to seeing just how extra Cardan would get now that he is the High King, and that first chapter did not disappoint. The new High King of Fairy lounges on his throne, his crown resting at an insouciant angle, his long villainously scarlet cloak pinned at his shoulders and sweeping the floor. An earring shines from the peak of one pointed ear. Heavy rings glitter along his knuckles. I need a moment. From the get-go, we see just how well the Jude x Cardan collaboration, I don't know what the hell to call their arrangement, a lustful loathing? Ooh, alliteration. It is scary to me how consumed Jude seems to be at the fact that she's controlling Cardan. We are constantly reminded how thrilling it was for her to trick him onto the throne. And a lot of people question her moral compass and argue she's not good, but I will defend her till the end of days. When you analyse her upbringing, surrounded by fae who are manipulative, she was raised by this lethal general. She's not going to make decisions based on what we think is right and would deem as rational. Even in the prologue, we're exposed to a scene with Maddox who tells her that we get power by taking it. And then later there's a scene with Locke where Jude is talking about Taryn and she says, if you're playing with Taryn, Maddox will murder you, I won't even get a chance. And then Locke says your ridiculous family might be surprised that not everything is solved by murder, to which Jude replies, we would be surprised to find that. So it's just the norm in her family for things to immediately go to violence. You trick people into getting what you want because fairies can't lie. So this is the atmosphere she's been brought up in, and I think it's such an interesting take on a protagonist who is not just purely good. I adore Jude's sarcastic humour. During Nicassia's assassination attempt, when the bomb asks Jude about it and she says that the High King is very bad at romance. Yes, Jude. Although, is he bad at romance? Is he really? Now, the biggest bombshell in this book was the Jude and Cardan romance, if you could even call it that. And it all began on page 93. Cardan gives me a look through his lashes that I find hard to interpret, and then raises too. He takes my hand. Nothing is sweeter, he says, kissing the back of it. What? The next instance. Jude's inner thoughts. Kiss me until I am sick of it. I need help. Then we go to page, my favourite page, 144. Presses his mouth to my ear, kissing me there. This is 50 Shades of Faye. They had a whole chapter of hooking up, and I'm gonna close the book before I start reading. This book made me die. Let's be real, I am no longer here. You are seeing a ghost. The line that really had me die, and I was in public reading this line, so I had to kind of look into the distance and contemplate my life. Cardan says to Jude, I want to tell you so many lies. So truth be told, when I first started reading this, I didn't think there was an inkling of a chance of them even having any sort of romance. I thought their ship was just something my imagination fixated on for the last year when I was waiting for this book, and I didn't think anything would happen because the way they left things in The Cruel Prince, I was thinking, right, we're going to take a little break. I feel as though I do need to put a little bit of a disclaimer in at this point in time, because I do recognise that this is a totally toxic relationship, and I have seen so much debate on the internet. However, because this is fantasy, I mean, they have tales in this world. So when I look at it from that point of view, I do not have an issue with it. If this was done in a contemporary setting, that would be problematic on a whole new level. So then we are starting to get ready for Taryn's wedding. Taryn, who I still hate with the whole fibre of my being. But my favourite aspect of leading up to the wedding was going to the human world to see Vivi. I absolutely adore Vivi. She was one of my favourite characters in the first book. Her standout scene for sure is when they're with Heather getting ready. We're not going to take a car, we're going to fly instead. We're going to the airport? No, love, you're getting a seahorse. I don't agree with Vivi not telling Heather about who she is before they go to the wedding. This is someone you love, and you know how dark and dangerous the world of fairy is. So to not prepare your other half for such a thing and put her in so much danger felt so reckless to me, and especially as Vivi is the one that is actually a fairy, Jude has more rational thoughts about this, and she is the one that's saying, hello, maybe we should give her some charms. Okay, so we do need to talk about Locke in the woods. Up until this point where Jude was attacked by Locke and his little team gang, I forgot that Jude was human. I feel as though she's really mastered fitting into the court life. So yeah, that just made me hate Locke more, and I do not understand the point of his existence. I would have been okay if he died instead of Belkin, because the hatred is real. So it's the big night. My two least favourite characters in the whole world get married. I wish you all the worst for the future. We get the betrayal. So Nicassia has told Jude at the beginning of the book that someone she trusts has already betrayed her. So for me, before we were told who it was, I was suspecting the three people from the Court of Shadows immediately, because I thought, well, Taryn's already a bitch, so even if she does betray her, which she does later on as well, but we'll get to that, I thought, you know, no one's really gonna care. We all hate her anyway. I clocked onto Ghost being the betrayer a page before it happened, but seeing it written down, I serve Dane, not you. Holly Black has something about her writing style. It's kind of gut-wrenching, and it's like you've been slapped in the face almost. It was such an emotional scene for me. So now Jude is kidnapped by the Undersea. The Little Mermaid is my favourite princess. So I was loving all the physical descriptions of the Undersea, but this is also where my sanity shattered. Being with Jude across these pages was so emotionally raw. Her thoughts were almost vulnerable. I hope Cardan misses me, threw me over the edge, and she's having withdrawals from all the poisons she's been taking, and I was just thinking, this is actual torture. When they tried to glamour her, I had a little bit of an emotional breakdown. I know she had the geese from Prince Dane, which means she cannot be glamoured, but I was still dying at the chance that they were going to corrupt my already damaged cinnamon roll. I was thinking, okay, what's the magic system in the Undersea? Can the geese just magically vaporize from her mind when she enters this new realm underwater? When it turns out that she's going to be tricking them all, I thought, oh my god, Jude is the best. I do not like the Balkan scene where he asks her to kiss him, and this isn't a consent issue at all or anything because she did do it herself. He didn't trick her mind, but it's just the fact that she felt like this was okay to do. Oh, it messed with my mind a little bit. So then it turns out that it's been a month afterwards, and I really wish that we had more details about what happened in that month. This part of the book was merely a few chapters, and it felt a lot shorter than a month would have. And suddenly Cardan, my poor child, comes to the rescue and gets Jude back. I know why he did it now and stuff, but at the time, I was so touched. And when he was sitting on the throne by the shore, I had this vision of Jude kind of climbing out from the sea and just falling into his arms. That did not happen. He fully ignored her, which is very rude. Now, everything after that, it was kind of a war zone, because finding out that Cardan and Maddox and Taryn have been secretly plotting while she's been kidnapped, and I know they did get her back, which was, you know, 10 points to Slytherin. So the masquerade ball, when Prince Cardan is poisoned, my soul left my body, but I did like that scene just before that happened, where everyone thinks Cardan is just very drunk, and he's just on the floor, and he says, "How is that for an introduction? I am no dull monarch." And I just had this image of a Henry VIII type of personality where he's just sitting on his throne with all his glamorous clothes. Oh, when Cardan calls Jude, yes, my sweet villain, my darling god, feels. One of my favourite scenes in this whole entire book was when Jude is trying to lead Cardan out of the room and Beowulf just butts in and commands her because he thinks he's in charge. "Jude, you will leave the High King's side." At that tone, Cardan's focus narrows. I can see him straining to concentrate. She will not. The meeting with Beowulf after that was absolutely everything and made me love Jude even more. She is so sneaky in the best way when she meets Beowulf in the woods, and they do the exchange of the antidote for Cardan, and she pretends to drink it and then spits it out into the bottle, throws it to the bomb, and then he dies. Claps, everyone, applause all around the world. Thank you, thank you. I would now like a moment of silence for the next scene that we're going to discuss. So Cardan is sitting on the couch and the bomb is gone. He's been left alone in his room. I was so done because I knew that this would end so badly. Your dress, you put it back on? There was no dress, Cardan. She left in completely different clothes. And then it turns out that it was Taryn visiting his room and pretending to be Jude. Now, everything would have been fine if Taryn attempted to command Cardan. But because she didn't, Cardan never found out that it wasn't her. But how did she make you agree? She could pretend to be me, but she couldn't force you. She didn't have to command me, Jude. She didn't have to use any magic. I trust you. I trusted you. I'm retiring. When we find out the events that happen next, I thought, okay, so Cardan was in on it, on Taryn pretending to be Jude, to make her trust him. But then I remembered that Faye can't lie, which meant what he said was true. So now they're teaming up again, they're trying to be friends, and he says, marry me, become the Queen of Elfheim. I blacked out. In my interview with Holly, she told me there would be a wedding. Clearly, she meant Locke and Taryn. However, then on Twitter, when the video went live, she broke my soul again and said, oh, by the way, is it time to mention that there are 2 weddings? For this whole entire book, I was looking for this second wedding. I didn't think this was going to be an actual wedding between Cardan and Jude, because I'm sorry, I didn't mentally prepare myself for that. I had an inkling something bad would happen just because Cardan seemed too submissive, I guess, to the whole situation, and the way he kind of thought, oh, you know, you can be queen and still rule, I just don't want to be commanded anymore. Oh, Jude, you could have had 6 more months of ordering him around, which we all know you love to do, don't lie. Jude is banished to the human world. I can't imagine a worse fate for her. She's been thrown back to the world she no longer belongs in. I'm having emotions, and I don't understand how I'm supposed to wait for the 3rd book now, which is the final book. Can you believe it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, please. I really want to keep discussing the book with you. Tell me your theories for the 3rd book. Who was your favourite character? Do you have a favourite scene? I have many, as you can see. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you had a good time. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me a lot. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.